Hare Krishna. I am Kavya Budhiraja and welcome back to Being Krishna Conscious. Today's video is going to be very significant. Either for that person who is absolutely new onto this path of Krishna consciousness, or for somebody who has spent his good 20 to 25 years onto this path of bhakti. Sometimes we're just clueless. It could be a situation wherein we are trying to do each and every path of devotional activity, yet we don't feel that inner fulfillment. We are so overwhelmed with so much going around us, yet we sometimes feel that I'm not getting that self-realization. I'm not really able to attain that state of happiness that bhakti promises to give us. What to do then? This video is going to be fruitful in that particular sense. So without any further delay, let us begin with this video. Recently I found myself in a similar position wherein I was so perplexed, I was so overwhelmed with all the emotions and everything going around me, yet I was trying to find that inner fulfillment, but I was unable to. And that led me to a very wonderful lecture of Nitya Leela Pravisht Param Pujya Bhakti Charu Swami Maharaj, in which Maharaj was very beautifully mentioning about how Maya Devi personified was sent to Srila Haridas Thakur in order to defame him and make him fall down. By Ramchandra Khan, Maya Devi was sent. And yet what happened in return? Because of constant hearing of pure name from the lips of a pure devotee, the heart of that lady got transformed in just 2 nights. And on the 3rd night, she surrendered herself. She confessed why she had come. She informed Haridas Thakur as to why Ramchandra Khan sent him in order to defame him and all of that. And to this, Srila Haridas Thakur replied that, "Oh Devi, I already knew your prayojan of coming here. I already knew all of your intentions. But then I did not leave because if I'd have left, who would have uplifted you? And that was the sole motive of why I stayed, so that you would be uplifted." But the point to be taken out of this beautiful pastime, which is relevant in our present question, in our present context, is that she constantly heard the holy name from the lips of a pure devotee. That is the catch. We need to ask ourselves that are we hearing from a bona fide devotee of the Lord? It could either be the hearing of the holy name, Harinam Sankirtan, or the hearing of Krishna Katha. Are we hearing from a pure devotee or not? Because that directly penetrates into our heart. Another interesting fact is that, I'm not sure whether we all have observed it or not, but in earlier times what used to happen is that Diksha Guru used to give Diksha Mantra into the ear of his disciple. Why? Why didn't he say it out loud? Because while you're giving it to a particular person, that is actually penetrating into the heart of the person through his ear. And this is exactly what is meant by the process of hearing. It should not be ear deep, rather it should be heart deep. So whatever we are hearing, we should first make sure that we are hearing it from the bona fide representative of the Lord. Because the logic is very simple. If you want an apple, you go to a person, you ask that person for an apple. But in case that person doesn't have an apple, and if he says that, "Oh, here is a guava, please kindly accept it," would you be okay with that? No, because you specially went to that person to have an apple. So if a person who doesn't have that particular apple would not be able to give you that apple, right? Similarly, a person who does not carry Krishna in his heart, how can you expect to get Krishna from such a person? That is the very simple logic behind pure devotee association. We should try to associate with those devotees whose goal is to attain the love for Krishna and to love Krishna in return. So this is the power of hearing. This also reminds me of a beautiful drama that we prepared recently on the occasion of Janmashtami, Sri Krishna Janmashtami, in which we try to portray the story of a fruit seller. I just briefly tell you what that story was. So basically, there was a fruit seller, a lady, who came all the way from Mathura to Vrindavan to sell her fresh fruits. And while she was selling her fruits, the Brajavasi women came to her and asked that if your fruits are so good, then have you tried giving them to Krishna so that Krishna could taste your fruits? Because ultimately, if Krishna doesn't taste it, your fruits are useless. So while she was trying to sell her fruits, she kept constantly hearing about the glories of Krishna from the lips of Brajavasis who are actually pure devotees of Krishna, that she got that utkantha, that eagerness to see Krishna. And in just a short time, she was literally crazy to find Krishna, and she was asking each and every person who crossed her way that, do you know the address of Krishna? I've been trying to find Krishna constantly, but I'm unable to find him. Where is Krishna? Oh dear Krishna, how can I find you? So she kept looking for Krishna, and inadvertently she was chanting out loud, Govind Lelo, Damodar Lelo, Madhav Lelo, Govind Damodar Madhaveti, Govind Damodar Madhaveti. So this is a very beautiful pastime that we try to depict, because this is the consciousness that is required to be there with us throughout the year, and especially on Janmashtami. And if you're interested, I would definitely put a link of that video in the description box below so that you could go and check that video out as well. But the point is that it all started with hearing about the Lord. Shravanam Kirtanam. So before Kirtan, before singing the glories of the Lord, it is important that we hear, because that is the first step in bhakti. So even if you're a beginner, or you're somebody who has spent a good 30 years into Krishna consciousness, hearing is the basis. Because even Granthraj, Srimad Bhagavatam, is being heard by Parikshit Maharaj from Srila Shukadev Goswami. And on the other hand, Srimad Bhagavad Gita is also being heard by Arjun from Sri Krishna himself. So it ultimately starts with hearing about the Lord, hearing Harinam and hearing Krishna Katha. So Karthik Maas is going on, and I have a wonderful idea. For at least the remaining days of Karthik Maas, this Karthik month, what we can do is that every day we could go and listen to a lecture by Srila Prabhupada. There are various short lectures available of Srila Prabhupada on various digital platforms. So we can hear those lectures, and whatever realization, whatever good point that we have got from that particular lecture of Srila Prabhupada, what we can do is that for the betterment of everyone, for all of us, what we can do is that we could add our realization in the comment section below and also refer to the particular lecture that we have heard. So what will this do? This will encourage all the other devotees to go to that particular lecture and to hear that out as well. So this could be taken as a small service for the rest of Karthik, because I totally understand that sometimes while we are engaged in so much of commitments, it could be difficult to prioritize our personal sadhana. And in order to prioritize our sadhana, it is very important that we hear from the lips of a bona fide devotee, and that is what we are going to do at least for the rest of the Karthik Maas. Hare Krishna, Srila Prabhupada ki Jai, Nitai Gaur Premanande, Hari Bol, Hare Krishna.